Okay, this is a series of answers to some questions that have been sent to me by students at Birmingham City University. I've decided to start using video to reply to these questions because it's just easier. Anyway, so I'm going to look at the questions and then I'm going to answer them. The first question, this is from Jess Barlow at Birmingham City University. She asks, which online tools and resources do I use to keep up to date with breaking news stories, and why do you use these? Jess, I heavily use RSS feeds. I have probably around 100 just on journalism and online journalism alone. So I have a very specific kind of set of news feeds that come to me through Bloglines, my RSS reader. So that's the main place that I get my news from. Having said that, I've less and less been using that and more just been picking things up through Twitter. And you could argue that Twitter, if you like, is a social filter that is pushing news to me. These are people who read interesting things, they share my interests, and they are recommending interesting articles. So my RSS reader and a bunch of RSS feeds, mainly from blogs, not really mainstream news organisations, mainly from people who work in social media. Twitter, and I've set up a number of email mailings as well, so I get email alerts from places like TechCrunch and Pointer and things like that. And I try and buy a national newspaper most days, definitely on a Saturday, and on a Sunday quite often I'll get a tabloid. And that's it. Breaking news stories you mentioned specifically, Twitter is definitely where I tend to go for that, and I look at places like TweetScan and Alpha Twitter and Twitterly, which tell me what are the most popular links. So I use a number of tools in terms of breaking news stories. So that's question one. Question two, do I keep a personal blog, and if so, how regularly do I update it and why? Obviously I do keep a personal blog. Well, if you can call the online journalism blog a personal blog. I try to update it every day, and I try to set myself a maximum of 3 updates a day, because I think any more than that and it becomes too much for people. Why do I update it that regularly? Because I do. I update it as often as I feel it needs updating. Sometimes I'll go a week without updating it. 3. How important is blogging to me personally and, in my opinion, for online news production? To me personally, blogging is enormously important. It's become really one of the most important aspects of my professional life. It's taken me to places that I would never otherwise have been. It's introduced me to people I would never otherwise have met, and it's completely transformed my knowledge and experience and my opinion about how you do things, journalistically, organisationally. Things are changing enormously, and I think you need to be doing it to understand how it's changing. How important is it, in my opinion, for online news production? Well, I think it's incredibly important for exactly the same reasons, because organisationally the possibilities and the economics are changing, so an understanding of that is really important in terms of the management of a news organisation. Culturally, the exchange between journalists and readers has changed, the old thing from a lecture to a conversation, so journalists really need to get to grips with that, or they're going to lose their audiences. And there's been a massive power shift in terms of distribution. It's readers predominantly, and to a lesser extent journalists themselves, who distribute the news. You don't have a distribution network like you did with print newspapers. So in that sense, having a blog is a vital part of your distribution strategy. It's very important because it is you as a journalist distributing the news, and it allows your readers to distribute it as well. So I think blogging is crucial, or at least being part of a conversation. Right, that's a few questions. That's come on for 5 minutes. So I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to answer the next set of questions in another video.